Welcome to this module on getting familiar with your data, part 1. In this session, you will explore spreadsheets through the Femicides in Kenya dataset. You will learn key spreadsheet concepts. You will get familiar with different data types, and you will assess the quality of your data. Exploring a dataset for the first time. We're going to look at how we can navigate a spreadsheet. Number 1, we're going to look at columns. Columns are indicated by letters. As you can see on the screen, you see column B. Next, we're going to review rows. Rows are marked with numbers, and here you can see the highlighted row is row number 2. The first row is usually the header row. It shows what information is stored in each column. These are the column labels. Here, in order we see the labels, numbers, which usually stands for ID or serial number. The date, description, name of woman, age, and type of murder, all of those are in the columns. These are also called variables. Cells are identified by their column letter and row number. For example, on screen, we see Maureen Naoko, which we have selected as cell D2. Your mouse cursor will change depending on where you are in the spreadsheet. And how do we tidy up the sheet? Let's check the data sheet. Make sure the columns are labeled and that the column label only takes up one row. Any notes or titles that is not part of the data should be separated from the data by at least one blank row. And there are no empty rows or empty columns within the data table. As we can see on the screen, we have empty cells and empty columns and rows. So, are you ready to explore your data? In our dataset, each row represents a single media report of femicide. On column B, we can see the dates that were reported. Each column represents a piece of information about that report. When it happened, which is the date, the description of the case, the name of the woman who was the victim of the case, her age, and so on. The first column, labeled with a number, gives a unique ID to each report. The data types. We have the ID, which is the number. We have the date in the format month, day, and year. We have the description, which is open text and not easy to analyze. We have the name, which is also open text. The age, which is a number. Type of murder related to victim. We can put this in categories. We have the URL, which shows the place of incident, the location, which could be counties or cities, and the coordinates. So how do you read through the dataset now? Do you understand what all the column labels mean? What kind of information is contained in each column? Describe them with your own words. If you find that you don't understand something, it's a good idea to go back to the dataset source and contact the author. Do you remember where we found the author of our femicide dataset? Now we need to look at how the quality of the data is. Number 1, missing data. Look for the blank cells or values that say unknown. Scrolling through the dataset, we can see that age is often left blank. There are many unknown values in the relation with victim column. Spelling errors and inconsistencies. How do we look at this? Luckily, some of the fields are standardized, categorized into preset options. For example, for relation with victim, we have 5 categories. We have the assailant, the boyfriend, the husband, the relative, and unknown. This prevents spelling errors. Spelling errors and inconsistencies. In the age, there are mostly numbers, but we can find one value that is text, which is written on screen, late 40s. We will come back to correct that. Is the data up to date? Is it clear source? The dataset applies to the January to October 2019 period, and the authors seem to consider it complete for that time frame. The authors and source of the data are clearly stated on the dataset. And what analysis is possible? Often, we jump into analysis or visualization before interrogating the data and understanding it well. We need to have questions in mind so that you can see if the dataset can answer it at all. Does it have any gaps? Can we answer these? How many femicides happened in Kenya in 2019? Can we compare counties in terms of femicide rate? Dataset consists of media reports, not settled court cases. It is not complete. Not all cases get reported at all, even to the police, let alone picked up by the media. The dataset authors may even have missed a few news reports. We can't say that there were 84 femicide cases in Kenya during that period. There are probably many more. We can't compare the number of femicides in different locations. Femicides are underreported everywhere. And in some places, people may report these crimes even less. They trust the police less, or the police is less easily available than in other places. We can't generalize if we don't have representative data. If you want to get a fuller picture, you may go after police reports or court cases. You can also find studies on the topic. What can we learn from the data given the limitations? As the data is not complete, we can't say that it is mostly women in their 30s who get murdered. We can say women of ages from as low as 3 to as high as 80 can become victims. We'll learn how to do this in the next session. Similarly, with location, we can show diversity of locations cases have been reported from. In summary, for strong analysis, interrogate your data critically. Triangulate. Find other sources, studies on the subject. Consult experts and respect the limits. What's next? We're going to read about data cleaning tips and techniques that help you prepare for your data analysis. Thank you for engaging in this module and see you in the next.